Folks, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd take a look at a vintage kit, do a little bit of an unboxing, and then there'll be a build of this coming up. But it's a kit that's just recently been re-released. So the kit in question is the Revell Batman Forever Batwing, and this came out quite a few years ago. Obviously around the time of the film's release, but it has just been reissued in the last, I think, 12 months by AMT. So obviously the molds have changed hands. But let's take a look at what's in the box. So as you can see, the box is a little bit battered, worse for wear, but the kit inside is all there. So still sealed in the bags. I did buy this second hand, so but I did check it when it arrived, and everything is there. Now there is a decal sheet with it, but in fact it's just a generic decal. I think it's for the stand. And it's the film's logo with the bat logo inside the Riddler's question mark. Whether this is any good, it does actually feel like a sticker rather than a decal, but I'm sure these were decals. It's just that the paper's yellowed. Yeah, it says Decafix on the back. So yeah, probably won't be using that because I'm not going to be using the stand. The instructions are pretty simple, and they're the sort of old style Revell ones. There's no colour on these. In fact, there's no staple even. They're not stapled together. No parts diagram or anything. It's just purely straight into the build. And you do get an interior. Sadly, like a lot of these kits, you didn't get a Batman figure to go in them. Now I'm going to look around to see if I can find a figure to 3D print, and I'll print a figure up, even if it's just the top half, because you're unlikely to see his legs anyway. But if I could get his sort of torso and head to this scale. And it remains to be seen what scale it is. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll have a look. Then hopefully I can put a figure inside, and it's pretty straightforward how it goes together. It's just simple pieces. It's probably easier to look at the parts than the instructions, so there's not a lot to it. Some of these parts are chrome plated, and it suggests adding a black wash to sort of make the parts stand out. Now I've got an idea for those parts anyway, so and there is a clear canopy. It says smoked on the instructions. Whether it's supplied smoked or whether you have to smoke it yourself, I don't know. And then there you go, there's the base going together with the logo, the decal, and it is water slide according to that. So that's that. There is another sheet in here which is just a kind of safety sheet, and then shows the symbols. So that's like a separate sheet altogether. And then here's the parts. So let's have a look at the black parts first. And well, there's some scissors there. Just trim these bags open. So no more parts in the bag. Now, this being a first issue, I don't know what the AMT kit's like, but the parts on this are really finely moulded, and they've got an almost sort of satin finish to them. The only concern I'd have with this kit, but it does feel okay to be fair, and it's worth checking with the sprues, is that from this period and just before this period, Revell went through this stage of using a plastic that hasn't aged well. And I did have a couple of the Dune kits that are quite hard to find. I think I had the Ornithopter and the Sandcrawler from the David Lynch Dune movie. And those parts, the plastic was so brittle, I actually dropped one piece on the kitchen floor and it shattered into about 15 or 20 pieces. I did manage to glue it all back together again, but the styrene was very, very brittle. This actually feels okay, so obviously this isn't the same styrene. The wings, obviously there's a sort of top and bottom to each wing on these sprues, and they've got these chrome inserts that go in them. There's something about the design of these that's very, I think it's influenced by H.R. Giger, who did the designs for Alien. They've got that kind of biomechanical look. Now, strangely, Giger did design a Batmobile for one of the other movies, but his design was rejected as being too outlandish. And if you have a look online for H.R. Giger Batmobile, you'll see why. I mean, it's a great design, but I can't ever see it being in one of the movies, to be honest. Yeah, there's the top part. Now, given that this was a sealed bag, that this doesn't come on a sprue, so I'm assuming that was taken off in the factory, and obviously that clips onto there like that, and the wings attached to either side of this. There's some engine sort of fans there, and there's the cockpit tub. With it being black plastic, it doesn't show up very well on the camera. You can see there's some moulding in the bottom. At first I thought that was seat belts, but it's not. It's some kind of structure. But I'll probably add a little bit of detail to the cockpit anyway, just to busy it up. There's the stand with the the shape for the question mark on. I may use the stand, I don't know. There's the tail, and some various other bits. Some intakes there. There's another, what looks like an intake there. I think this part is part of the cockpit, this small piece. I don't think that will focus. I'm going to put my hand behind it. Almost. The detail is quite good on it. No, I don't think the camera's going to play ball there. Oh, almost again. I'm thinking of swapping this camera out because it's constantly not focusing on close-ups. But very simple kit. There's not many pieces there, and then those inserts are in here. Now I think this has been opened because it's not in the original bag. It's in a Ziploc bag, this one, but all the parts are there. And this chrome is very, very bright. Now I'm actually going to add light into this kit. I'm going to put some blue lights in to give the kind of neon effect that the original miniature had. So I may tone this down. I'm going to do a lighting test and see what this looks like with this bright chrome with the blue light on, but I think it's going to be far too bright. So I'm probably going to strip all the chrome off these, repaint them with a sort of polished aluminium colour, and then add a little bit of detail, some washes, and then put the blue light on, and I think that will give a more subtle effect. But I mean, the detail is quite nice on these. I don't know whether I can just offer that up. I'm assuming, in fact, let's just snip one of these off the sprue, and let's see how this looks inside one of those wing parts. Is this one? I think so. So this fits, I'm presuming, in there, and then you get that effect there. So maybe the chrome isn't such a bad thing after all, to be fair. You don't see all of it, but I think maybe certainly a wash on it, and then the blue lighting. The thing I was going to look at was to see what kind of plastic this is underneath, because quite often chrome plastic is put onto a kind of translucent styrene. Now if that's the case, it could be lit from behind. So what I might do is I might strip part of the sprue down and just see what kind of in fact, looking at this now, well, maybe not, that's got a kind of grey finish there, but it doesn't follow that that might be a coat of paint on top of there, because quite often these are painted onto the plastic and then the chrome is applied to a paint. So maybe we'll have a look at that and see. It'd be nice if they were that translucent colour. There's another big chrome part there. I'm assuming that's maybe the engine. But we'll see where that goes. And then in this bag is the canopy, and indeed it is a smoke finish plastic, so that's quite handy. I could tone it down a bit more with some Tamiya smoke, but that's not too bad. So but the overall size of this, if you sort of weigh this up against the size of the wing, which is there, it gives you an idea of, it's quite a big size, this. And I've always liked the design of this this particular Batwing. I don't think it's as iconic as the Keaton Batwing. I don't recall there ever being one in the George Clooney movie. There may have been. It's a long time since I've watched it. I think I've only ever seen that film once, as it was so bad. But strangely, I do have the DVD, so maybe I should watch that and just see what it was like. But I'm going to take a look at the DVD for this one, just to see if I can spot anything that I could add to this before I do the build. So yeah, so overall it's a nice kit, and as I say, AMT have reissued these, and they're still available as far as I know. And although at the moment, with what's going on in the world in terms of trade, a lot of the American kits are becoming very expensive in the UK, particularly the truck kits. I like to build some of the old AMT truck kits, and the stuff that Round 2's putting out now, they're becoming very, very expensive. Some of them are over £100. I think I've seen this in the AMT reissue for about £45. which is, I suppose, a little expensive. But having said that, it is a nice kit, and I suppose in terms of how it weighs up against things like sort of vehicles and aircraft and things like that, it's not much more than an average price now for a decent model kit. So yeah, so have a look out for the build of this, which will be coming up at some point. It shouldn't take too long, this, even though I am adding lighting. It should be a relatively quick build because there's so few parts in it. And I've also got there'll be a companion video for the Batboat from the same movie. I don't currently have the Batmobile from this movie, although I've been keeping an eye on one on eBay, so I may yet go for that. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the trio of vehicles from the film. And of course, Revell also did 3 figures from this. They did Val Kilmer's Batman, Chris O'Donnell's Robin, and Jim Carrey as the Riddler in vinyl figures. Now I do have the Jim Carrey one somewhere, but it's unbuilt. But the likeness is pretty decent, and I seem to recall the Batman and Robin were both very good figures as well. I'm not entirely sure they weren't reissues of Japanese kits, to be honest. So, but maybe I'll have a look around for those. They turn up at the various shows now and again. So we'll see about that. But certainly for the vehicle side of it, these kits are very good and well worth getting. So hopefully that was useful if you've ever thought of building this but never seen inside the box. And I'll be along at some point fairly soon with the build, and I'll show how I've done the lighting in it and any other detail that I've added. And I'm going to try and keep my videos now down to maybe a build video followed by a reveal video, rather than having it drawn out over 5 or 6 videos, unless it's a really complicated build, but I'm not anticipating that with this one. So if you like this, obviously like, subscribe, and if you hit the little bell, that'll pull up any other updates as they come along, and you'll get notified of those. And once again, thanks for watching.